How are you? Today is the day after surgery. Um, Let me tell you about it. First, I'm putting on this Team Team Ill detox mask. I had to get my face a little damp, and it has a nice scent to it. It goes on your face 1 to 4 times a week, and it says on the packaging, safety of this product has not been determined. Why is it out on the market? Anyway, so yesterday I had to be at the hospital at 2 o'clock or 2:30. I got there at 2:15. I'm sitting with my sister, and they give you a buzzer, a timer, and they'll call you up that way. So it goes off about 2:35. I'm like, okay, here I go. I'm gonna go get it done. And the lady at the receptionist says, the doctor called. He wants to talk to you. And my sister goes, me? Thinking he wanted to talk to her. And I'm like, why would he want to talk to you? And she goes, the patient. I go, that would be me. So the lady says, go over there and I'll transfer it to you. I think she was new. She didn't know how to transfer a call. So she came over and called him from that phone and then handed it to me. But Barb had her hand on the phone waiting for her to transfer it. I was like, it's not for you, it's for me. This stays on for 10 to 15 minutes until it dries. So the doctor calls, I pick up the phone, I'm talking to the doctor, and he's like, hi, Miss Paleo, you have a surgery scheduled at 2:30. And I go, I know. It's 2:35. And he goes, yeah, I know. The surgery before you ran long. And no, the surgery I had just now ran long. And I'm starting the surgery before you right now. And I go, okay. And he goes, I don't know how long it'll be. Do you want to reschedule? I'm like, I took off work for this. And he goes, oh, okay, well, I'll probably start you around 7 o'clock. And I go, are you going to be tired? And he's like, no, I'll be fine. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. And he's like, I'm sorry about this. It couldn't be avoided. And I'm thinking, okay, thank you. So I hang up the phone. I go, it's been rescheduled for until 7 p.m. And Barb's like, what? I was like that too. I wanted to just scream. But these things happen. So uh, we look at the receptionist over at her desk, and she's like, and we're like, we're going to go for a walk. Okay. So we go for a walk. We go down to the gift shop, and Barb buys some junk food. And she bought hot tamales, and I love them. I hadn't eaten since 11:30 the night before. I hadn't drank water since 11:30 that morning. And it was now going on 3 o'clock. And we go back up there. It was about 3 when we sat down. And I'm dozing. And I hear, as I'm falling asleep, my name. And I went, and I looked up, and a lady was leaving. And I go, did you say my name? And she was like, well, what's your name? And I said it. And she's like, oh, yeah, come here. Come here. And she's like, okay, we're going to take you down and get you ready for your surgery. I'm like, it's not until 7 o'clock. It's only 3:30. Yeah, we want to get you done now. Okay, so I said bye to my sister and I went down to pre-op. They got me in my cape and they put a couple of blankets on me because you know it's cold in there. They hooked me up. They did my IV, you know, put all the monitors on me. And I laid there. Well, and I was supposed to really go down there at 5 o'clock. At around 5 o'clock, I pulled somebody in and I said, what's going on? I mean, and they're like, well, we're waiting for the doctor to call for you and then we'll finish up. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. So I go into the bathroom and I pee a river. And I'm like, I looked at the lady when I come out. I go, I don't know why I had to pee that much. I haven't drank anything forever. She goes, we're putting liquids in you. I'm like, oh, duh. So I'm laying there, and at 8:30, now mind you, I was supposed to have surgery at 7. They're like, okay, we're going to start getting you ready. He's finishing up. I'm like, well, I have to go to the bathroom again. They're like, can you hold it? I go, I'm in the surgery. So I go back in and I pee another river. Oh, and by this time I've been transferred from one side of the pre-op to the recovery. I went from pre-op to recovery because pre-op closed. So I go over there and the guy's like, so I get this? And I go, what? This is not a this. And he goes, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm getting your case. I go, yes, you are. And in case you haven't read it, I've been here since 2:15. He goes, what? And he picked up my folder. And so 8:30 came around, and I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom again. And again, I peed a river. And not that you really wanted to hear that. So they get me ready, and the last time they shot me up so I was calm and cool and collective. Well, this time they didn't give me anything. And they rolled me into the ER, and they're like, okay, scoot over to the other table. And there's like a foot between. I go, you want me to fall? And they're like, well, we're going to move the table. I'm like, well, do that before you say scoot. I'm like, it'd be easier if I just sit on it. No, we already gave you some stuff. You can't get off the table now that way. I go, you didn't give me anything. And a nurse goes, no, we didn't hear anything. But really, just scoot over. I'm like, it'd be easier if I got up, stood, and they're like, please stop arguing. I'm like, okay, fine. So I scooted over, and then they put the thing on my face, and they're like, you're going to go to sleep now. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I'm breathing, and I'm waiting to go to sleep. And I'm like, I'm not falling asleep. And they're like, hold on. Oh, he hasn't turned it on yet. This is not making me feel good. So apparently, I went in there at 9 o'clock. I got out about 11:30. No, I got out at 11. So I was in for about 2 hours. They woke me up at 11:30, and I had this asshole nurse. This was not any of the nurses I've had before. This is the guy who did my pre-surgery the last time and had the air conditioning on him. And I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. And he's like, okay, we're going to get you a bedpan. I go, I don't want a bedpan. I want to go to the bathroom. And he's like, well, you're not going to the bathroom. I'm like, well, then I'm not going to the bathroom. My cape was unhooked and my boobs were out. And this guy is in my room. And I'm like, can I have a cape to cover up with? You're wearing a cape. It's hooked. I go, no, it's not. My boobs are out. And then I found my other cape around my feet, and I took it and I pulled it up on me, and I go, "Can I have my clothes?" And he's like, "We're not ready yet. You need to fully wake up." I'm go, "I am awake. Can you tell I'm awake? I want to cover up. I don't like my boobs hanging out with a guy in my room." And he got up, threw the bag on me, and walked out. Didn't shut the curtain. I'm like, can somebody shut my curtain? Does this happen to anybody else? And the nurses earlier, when I was undressing, would just walk in as I'm unclothing. I'm like, do you mind? Oh, it's just me. I don't care, it's just you. There's people walking around outside. Could you shut the fucking curtain? And not come in without saying, hey, I'm coming in. People have rights yet. You don't sign those away when you become a patient. So I got dressed. I said, now I want to go to the bathroom. Can I go now? So I went in there. I couldn't go. And he wanted me to sit down on the toilet in front of him. I'm like, I'm fine, go. I'm supposed to make sure you're sitting down. I'm fine, go. I walked in here by myself. I don't need you. And he's like, fine. And he shut the door, but he didn't shut the door. It was still cracked. And I and locked it. You're not supposed to lock the door, ma'am. Well, I did it anyway. And I couldn't go to the bathroom. So I come back out after washing my hands. He doesn't need to know I didn't go to the bathroom. I sit down. He goes, you're released. We're taking you downstairs. That's me. I go downstairs. I'm talking to my sister is down there with the car. I get out and I get in the car, shut the door. I never want to see that guy again. I asked my doctor not to put another stent in because I didn't want to go through it being taken out. He put another stent in, so I have to go through it again. What is that? Oh, okay, squirrel. I got home at about 11:15, about the usual time I get off work. So I was at the hospital waiting for surgery for like 7 hours. Little did I know that my doctor did lie to me. It wasn't a late surgery for the person that was 2 people ahead of me. My sister was talking to this man who said, oh yeah, my wife's in there now with Dr. Dew. He fitted her in. He fitted her in. And Barb's like, really? You know, she wanted to go off on someone. And then she heard the guy's story. His wife has cancer. They found a mass in her kidneys. So that's why Dr. Dew did the emergency surgery. All right, everything's forgiven. Well, for him to put me through that. I forgive his part of it, but not the rudeness of some of the nurses, especially the last one, who I think is a pervert. He's the same guy who did what was said, okay, now get undressed and put your cape on for my first surgery. And then he just stood there. I'm like, you want to leave? He doesn't need to be a nurse in there. Um, but I forgive the doctor because, if I was that patient that they had found, she does have cancer. I don't know if the mass in her kidneys was cancer, but yeah, I'm okay with that. But I got home about 11:15. I hadn't eaten since the day before, so I hadn't eaten over 24 hours. That is a record for me. And I hadn't drank anything in about 12 hours. So I drank a whole bunch of water. I had some pot stickers. And I'm sitting on the couch down here relaxing. And I'm like, okay, in a minute, just get up and go to bed. I woke up at 4 o'clock on the couch, 4 o'clock in the morning. I got up, uh, took off my pants, and jumped into bed. I'm still wearing my t-shirt. And so that was my day yesterday. It's for my day of surgery. What did you think? It's about 1 o'clock now. I think. I don't know. I woke up at 9 o'clock and I laid in bed. So I've only slept about 5 hours. Well, and whatever I slept on the couch. But it was one of those where you're dozing because I had the TV on and I heard the TV. Um, but yeah, I'm awake. I'm okay. Uh, I'm tired. I never took my medicine today. I'm a little afraid I'm bleeding a lot. All right. You guys, that was my story of my day of surgery. It was so much fun. I'm going to take this off and I'll tell you about it on Saturday because this is what I pulled in my Saturday sample series. You have a good day. I hope you never have to go through what I just did. Take care.